All right, guys, welcome into the first ever Northwest Georgia football college football playoff ranking show. I'm here with Big Matt from
Locker Room Sports Talk. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, all your favorite podcast places.
Yeah. So basically, I'll give you a rundown of what this is going to be. Last year, I got on with Big Matt, and I'm sure we'll do it again. And we talked about all of the college football playoff rankings. While the show came out, we talked about the teams, where they were in the rankings. Well, I decided this year to compile a list of 1 through 25 each week from all of the various members of our media group here. We're not actually in a group, but basically we are a group and fellow media guys. And we got a pretty good amount of people that joined, and I've got them all averaged up. And it's going to be interesting to see what we have versus what they have. I know it's a couple weeks before the College Football Playoff Committee puts their stuff out there, but we can compare it to the AP for the time being. And, if you want to, you can hop on here and give your thoughts about the ranking, where you think your team is, and try to defend Indiana from Big Matt because he's going to strike them down. Anyway.
I can't do it, man.
I hear you. I hear you, Big Matt. I mean, I've been on your side for a long time, but, man, they just keep winning games. I know the competition level has not been – I hear you. Anchor down.
The thing with them is this, and I know we'll move on and start from 25 up. It's about matchups, and I always acquire football to kind of boxing. I think their quarterback play, is good, and how they played Oregon. And we had just seen, Penn State take Oregon to overtimes. And so if Oregon struggles with this team that went the next week and got thumped by 0-3 UCLA, I just need to see more, because last year we saw what happened with Indiana. When they come into the scene, they got to the playoffs, they were out pretty quick. And I can't buy. I'm not buying right now.
I don't blame you. It's hard to get on board with that. And, to me, some of the attitude that you get from Signetti, that really just turns me off too. So before we get started, I'm gonna throw the AP poll up here. Everybody, this is the AP poll. As of the week before, correct? It looks like it. Yeah. I think there's been a new one come out since then, but because I know Miami dropped and Georgia moved up, but regardless, this gives you an idea of what we're looking at here. The top 25 from 2 weeks ago. But we're going to go ahead and jump into our rankings. Jake Keller, one of our avid listeners, he says, need a Vandy, Indy, Natty. That would feed souls and bring America back together. I don't think so. I think that would be very interesting. What would you call that? Is Indiana like a Brainiac school? I don't think so. I was
no
Brainiac Bowl, but no.
Maybe the less than bowl.
If you had like Indiana and Tech or Vandy and Tech in the championship, you could call that the Brainiac Bowl. Anyway, all right, we're going to jump in. Oh, okay. All right. It looks a lot the same at the very top. Besides number 2.
Okay, not number 2. I don't think they could beat 3, 4, 5, 10. I'd like to see Georgia Tech play them.
Yeah.
If Oklahoma's healthy, if Mateers can,
He looked
here's the
better
thing,
last
man.
week. He looked better last week.
These dogs that we grow down here in the South, that you cover high school football in Georgia, that has some of the best prospects in the nation, I just don't think that those guys are going to lose to Indiana. I just don't. I just can't go along with that.
Well, let me ask you this. This is an interesting one here. They have Notre Dame at number 12. Who do you like better, Indiana or Notre Dame?
I hate both of them. If I had to pick, I would. I don't. Boy, that's trying to make me pick between Hamas or.
Oh yeah, you go.
You know, I mean, good gracious, man. Notre Dame's got a better record. So, I mean, look, these guys almost, they were there. And they lost some players, but they brought back a lot of their line. They lost some dudes on defense. The
quarterback's been playing pretty good, and they can run the ball.
The run game love is still there. I think he was National Player of the Year this week through the nation. So I would nod. I think Notre Dame would beat Indiana head to head.
All right. I'm going to try to make this big enough where everybody can see. All right, these are those dogs you're talking about, and the SEC haven't won a natty in 2 years. Yeah. I mean, that's true. Nor have they made a championship game. That's true as well. So, regardless,
I'd put them up against about anybody.
Yeah, and I do agree with the NIL and transfer portal has kind of leveled the playing field a little bit, but I still think there's teams out there that are gonna step up, I guess you'd say.
The transfer portal's what's leveled the field. NIL kids have been getting paid. Now you just kind of move the painting and you can see the cockroaches running all over the room now when you turn the lights on. Used to they could hide behind the paintings. Now there ain't no paintings. The portal, which is now we only have one, so we're fixing to see things kind of be back to a little bit of norm.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah,
the timing of that is interesting to me. I mean, it's really hard to make it during the right time. I mean, anyway,
it is.
We'll talk about that on a later time, I'm sure. But jumping into our top 25, Utah sets at 25. Although, some people had them higher, some people had them lower. They had a 22 average, and they're here at 25. So, Arizona State, if you want to talk about either any of these teams, jump in at 24. I know on the AP poll, Mississippi State was not there. We're giving a little respect to Mississippi State, Blake Shapen and them. I know they have a couple losses, 2 or 3 at this point. Illinois has found their way in our top 25, and USC is hanging around at 21. Anything jump out to anybody? To you there?
It's good to see, Whittingham or whatever, he's at Utah. He's been there, seemed like, for 30 years. That, there's still enough people that kind of respect him, where he's at, in his career. And, he's still coaching, still got a ranked football team after all these years. I mean, he's been there for a long time. And, with AP, them not, they're not even on the, on the AP. So it shows that this is, a good thing what we're doing here, because this is the, really people that really watch it, because the AP poll is just absolute freaking tater water. I mean, that girl that come out and said that, she don't even vote hardly at all, or she just kind of puts people wherever. So this is a good tendency to see that I like Utah being ranked, and Mississippi State too. They're not bad. Good quarterback play, and we love Fluff. Shout out over here, Aniana, Alabama, their tailback Bothell. Still good. And Balaam in Illinois. USC, they're always going to be they're probably always going to be around the top 20 as long as they're kind of winning, I guess. So, it kind of shows a little bit of respect. This is what you're showing here, that people that watch football, it's good to see those teams on there.
Yeah, when you think about a Utah team, they're sitting at 5-2, 2-2 in the Big 12. They play Colorado this week. I think they're a pretty good size favorite there, 2 touchdowns or a little more. But USC, I think they dropped a couple games that you wouldn't think earlier in the year that they would. But decent team in the Big 12. I would compare like USC to if you give them like an SEC or an ACC comparison, maybe to like a Louisville. I think Louisville, jumped up and got somebody last week. I don't think USC's winning the Big 10 or nothing like that. So
Yeah,
anyway,
maybe a Cincinnati, maybe something in that roundabout kind of idea. Yeah,
I got you. So rounding out our 16 through 20, we had Texas Tech at 20. LSU jumps in to the poll at 19. Going on down, you see Cincinnati at 18. It's weird because LSU sitting at 19, and you think, okay, LSU versus Cincinnati. Who would I take in that particular matchup? It'd be hard to take Cincinnati, but on average, we ranked them higher. So,
well, I mean, Cincinnati's, quarterback play, they're playing good right now. The only game they lost was the opening game. They come out and lost to Nebraska in a close game. But,
yeah,
here's the thing: good coach, and quarterback play is they're hanging in there and throwing the ball around. They can run the ball as good as anybody for the Big 12, and I think they're, he's thrown for 1,700 yards, the Sorsby kid. So, defensively, they have some guys. I mean, they got a guy, the Golday kid's tackled and made 61 tackles. I mean, whoever you are, if you made 61 tackles, that's pretty good. So, yeah, I would love to see that game. I mean, I'd like to see Cincinnati play LSU.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see those two teams kind of different areas there. Jake Keller asked, who is Illinois' best win at Duke? LSU's best win is at Clemson. Doesn't look great now. And I mean, I agree with both of those. I think Clemson's kind of fell off the wagon. I mean, I guess we voted them there because you got to put somebody there. I mean, who else you going to put? I think we can get more stickler when we get lower in the rankings, but right now I think it's kind of a heap, especially early. Yeah, and I say early, we're halfway through the year, but
once I got to probably 15, 16, 17, I started thinking okay, I just got to put these guys somewhere. Illinois, what he was talking about a while ago, 34-16 lost to Ohio State, and then they lost pretty bad to Indiana.
Yeah.
They're 2-2 in the conference with Indiana and Ohio State, of course, running, the Big Ten. But, yeah, they beat USC by 2. That's kind of their win. Illinois, they beat USC by 2.
Going on up here, you see Virginia sitting at 16.
I'm curious about them. I really am. I'm curious to how they're going to play, and what's their MO. They got North Carolina coming in this week, 11 o'clock ACC network. They are favored by 10, which I guess because Belichick's girlfriend seems to be the coach of the team after the video I watched a couple of days ago.
Well, let me tell you something. Let me bring up something that I heard. And I don't know if this is correct or not, but I'll have to do some more digging, but I'm still going to bring it up because it's very interesting. They said that if the top 3 teams currently in the ACC went out, Georgia Tech, Virginia, and SMU, that the 2 teams playing in the ACC championship would be Virginia and SMU.
Yeah.
And Georgia Tech would be left out. Wow.
Wow.
I don't know. Tiebreaker scenarios, blah, 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 from what I was told.
Well, they're 4-0 in the conference. Tech is, and they don't have any losses.
Yeah, and but also Virginia is undefeated in the conference. That's not true.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they are undefeated in the conference. That one loss to NC State was an out-of-conference game.
Yeah.
Doesn't count against them.
Yeah.
Wow. and they do not play either SMU or
Right.
Georgia Tech. So in that situation, I mean, depending on where Georgia Tech's ranked in the AP, they're ranked 7. Would they get a bye, an ACC championship bye, straight to the playoffs?
Yeah, Tech's, they're 7 in the poll, which is what they're going to kind of use today. In the rest of their schedule, they got, North Carolina State and then they're at BC, and they got Pitt. Even if I think they'll play Georgia, which we picked this in the summer. I thought they'd play Georgia a good game this year.
Yeah. I mean, Georgia's another one of those teams. Georgia could win out and see themselves sitting at home in the SEC championship, but also be, playing in the playoffs. So could have a bye week there. I mean, it's just you would think that these things will work their way out. Somebody's going to upset somebody, but who knows? We'll see. Jumping back to our list.
Yeah, the list, you got South Florida at 17.
Yeah.
How you like that? I mean, the AP's got them at 18, so that shows you our people, normal us. We're watching them, and we like South Florida.
I like the coaching staff. I like their ability.
Yeah, Coach Golich, Russian guy, ain't been over here real long. Come as a young guy, and there's curiosity. He may be the guy for the Gators. I don't know. So it's cool to see them being ranked by the people.
Yeah. So we'll scroll on up. We'll stop right here for now, and then we'll do the 12. Above Virginia there, you see that Tennessee at 15. I believe in the AP poll, Tennessee was down closer to 17. So our guys are respecting Tennessee a little more. Oklahoma right above them at 14, with Missouri right here at 13. So there's 3 SEC schools there right off the rip with a pretty close rating here. If you look at it, 15 and up, there's a big difference. There's a big jump between the 13.86 and Virginia's 16, everybody else. So would you say that collectively we agree that there's a pretty good difference between the top 15 teams and the remainder?
Yeah, I was thinking when I got to 15.
Yeah,
I kind of like, okay, well, I got to put somebody here. And I was like, okay, South Florida's pretty good. Cincinnati, I think I may have had LSU at 15 or 16. So, I think the top 15 is probably the ones we probably watch more, and probably, 17 and down is teams we don't probably think about as much.
Well, let's bump it on up. Let's do 4 at a time. That'll be fine. Notre Dame sitting here at 12 in our ranking, followed by BYU at 11, Vandy at 10, Ole Miss with that one loss at 9, and Miami dropped down to 8. Think about it in comparison to the AP here. Miami sitting at 9 with Ole Miss at 8. So we don't have Ole Miss in that same. I mean, basically back and forth. Ole Miss 8, 9. They have Vanderbilt at 10, which is, I'm thinking that's where we have them. That's crazy. That we're kind of in line with them on those particular ones. And keep in mind, none of this voting is based on AP. This is totally, you can pick. I mean, you could pick.
Yeah, you could put Ohio State at 25 if you wanted to.
Yeah. So
I had Indiana at 20, by the way.
Yeah, we'll see what that average is here coming up.
See this average here between 10 and 9. You see, there's a pretty good deficit there. So, Ole Miss Vandy, who wouldn't like to see that game?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Ole Miss Miami, Ole Miss Oregon, Ole Miss Vandy, any of those things. I like to see how BYU's run game would stack up against, some of these teams. Could BYU go to Ole Miss and just run them out of the building and hold the ball and run them? I don't know. Very interesting. Very interesting. You see Oregon setting up here at 7. Georgia Tech at 6. So
well, it looks like people are liking what they see with Haynes King, and we just kind of looked through their schedule and talking about the ACC. They're number 1 over there, and they don't play these guys, so they could meet Virginia in the championship game. So
here's a question from Ben Smith here. It says, "Hey Burge, how will Kobe Young injury affect Georgia?" Definitely takes away a playmaker. I mean, a physical guy outside, you could throw the ball, a little 5-yard out, and he could turn it into 12. Just being physical. What I think it does in the immediate is it creates a little hole, but I think you're going to see 5 step up into that role. I don't think he's the same type of receiver, but he's going to get the reps. I think you'll see him step into that role.
Kobe's he's a big guy.
Yeah.
I just thought it looked. I think me and Todd watched that or something, or it looked like the guy's maybe the back of his face mask or something landed on the back of his heel, and we've all had that happen. It hurts bad. It must have. Has there been an actual injury release of exactly what it is? Is it ankle or
it's a fibula, I'm pretty sure.
Oh crap.
Yeah.
So he broke his leg.
Pretty much. Yeah. He's done. Yeah.
I thought he may have popped his Achilles or something. I just seen leg injury. I hadn't seen. I hate that. I hate to see. That Georgia don't need nobody needs nobody just out like that. But I mean, Georgia's got a bunch of these old dirty white boys from like Lyerly, Georgia, up there just getting out there and catching the football. I mean, they don't need nobody out. Not right now, man.
Jake's really challenging us tonight. Vandy and Ole Miss have same best win at home against LSU. Ole Miss lost to Georgia. Vandy lost to Bama. Why such a big difference? You want to respond to that?
The difference in Vandy and Ole Miss, that just seeing knowing Kiffin, I think gives a little more respect because of his coaching style. Coach Lee kind of new to the game. 1, I would say, is probably some of that. 2 is seeing how they play. And Ole Miss played Georgia well, and Vandy just couldn't move the ball. They couldn't throw it. He couldn't run it. Bama kind of dominated them a little more, so they looked a little bit weaker, you know what I'm saying, than Ole Miss did.
And points-wise, I mean, obviously they're 9 versus 10, but, somebody or a group of somebodies in this poll could have had Vandy, down at the 14-15 mark, and that would have drove their score up a little bit. But, yeah, I do see a pretty good difference between, almost, 2.
I think I had Ole Miss maybe 10, and I kept Vandy at 12. I remember putting them at 12 for sure, and I put Notre Dame at 13. I think Vanderbilt needs to be left in this playoff spot. Now their season's still in front of them. They're fixing to hit their stride, maybe. So we'll find out.
I mean, people's got it in front of them, like you said. Georgia Tech sitting there at 6. Like the Georgia Tech Oregon matchup. Who knows?
Everybody thinks he's got a plan until they play some old boys from Dirty South. I'm just telling you. I know it's been 1,100 something days since the SEC has won a national championship. Trust me, I'm counting the days with Matt Mitchell too. If you don't watch his videos, please God, go watch them. They're great. But the opportune moments and things have just changed a little bit. Urban built an SEC style team. Ryan Day is just collectively running that. And them losing their coordinators, Chip going out to NFL, and their defensive coach going to Penn State, which obviously didn't help. But I don't see Ohio State being that guy. Defense is solid, but they don't have the run game, and I'm not a Saiyan fan. So I would – man, that could be a That'd be a great game.
So we're jumping on up the number 5 spot, and there's where we find the Georgia Bulldogs.
I think that's where I put them.
5.71, just above
No.
Georgia Tech.
I think I put Georgia 3. Yeah, I did. I had Bama, Ohio State, Georgia.
I think Ohio State they've had a Michigan problem lately, but I just don't know if they're going to have a problem with this Michigan.
Yeah, they're a little deflated. Michigan lost a lot of defensive players, a lot.
I don't know. Ohio State looks like a pretty darn good. Yeah,
they're good on D. I'm still not. I don't know about saying though.
There's your before mentioned Indiana team jumping in at 4.
They must have loved them because I put them at 20. So
yeah. So they jump in here at 4. I mean, until they lose, I mean, this is going to be the same thing as last year. Even if they was to play in a title game and lose, Indiana, if they're ranked, when it come to that time, if they're ranked anywhere near the top 5, they're going to roll down to 8 or 9 or 10, and they'll be in the playoffs.
Well, I mean, they're favored by 4. I would take that money on that bet anyway. They're favored by 25. I'll take UCLA.
But UCLA's hot right now with young Neuheisel calling plays and everything. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
But they got Maryland, Penn State, Wisconsin, Purdue. Come on, man. Why don't you just play the Citadel, South Carolina State, and Marshall or something? Come on, bro. Really? This is your schedule. They said, now we know they're liar. Where I'm talking about the committee. They said that strength of schedule is going to play a big role. Well, they've played 2 ranked teams, and they have won those 2 ranked teams against Illinois and Oregon. But their strength of schedule is going to be 70th at best when we get over there and roll into later November.
The blind draw, the blind rankings.
Yeah, their strength of schedule's garbage.
All right, rolling on up. The Crimson Tide of Alabama is sitting at 3 with a 3.43 average. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a pretty, 2.5 point difference there. That's, I don't have a problem with them being. If anybody had them 3, 4, or 5, I think that's cool.
So you end up with Ohio State at 1. A&M right now. People have A&M voted above Bama.
I'm telling you, I'm just not. I don't know if they can score with the best of them, man. You look at their schedule, and I've watched them play twice this year. Defensively, they keep them in games closer than what they do, but they're right there, man. We got to see how the rest of their schedule, plays out.
Well, they're at LSU this week. You can't slip up there, or you're just gonna.
Yeah, it's done.
And then you're at Missouri, which somebody else has went to Missouri and got to win. Then you have lowly South Carolina. Then you have Samford. Then you're at Texas the last week of the year.
They should win the rest of they're not. I mean, Missouri's ranked, but
every game.
They should win out. This is, and I don't mean to. I can bring them up, I guess, but the way that schedule looks, that was a lot of the reason that people had Auburn winning, based off people coming back and some guys that they got in. Singleton, they could probably win 8 or 9 games. Auburn's schedule lays out pretty well. They're tougher games. They had the 2 off road games, but A&M's the same thing, man. I mean, look, how many ranked teams are they going to play? Notre Dame, LSU, and I don't know how good Missouri is. So they're really going to play 2 solid ranked teams, and then you could scratch your head about Texas and Missouri, I guess, right?
Yeah. All righty.
I don't know about A&M.
Yeah, I hear you.
Here's the thing. Do you think Georgia beats how would you feel about Georgia matching up with any of the front four above them?
Uh,
Not just personally, but also I think about Vegas odds and how they my favorite too. We've already seen 3 and 5. So Georgia, Indiana, give me Georgia by 14. Georgia A&M. I like Georgia in that game, man. I'm telling you. And Georgia, Ohio State. If Gunner can stay busy and they can use him on his feet some and keep the box unloaded from them playing 6 or 8 guys and not just play man, Georgia's fast enough on defense to give Ohio State problems. I'm just saying.
Georgia's one of those teams, and I've said this multiple times. They're kind of like one of those guys who goes around and kills a bunch of people. What's that one guy that was at the bottom of Crystal Lake? They're like Freddie. You can't get rid of them. Or Jason, not Freddie.
Jason, yeah, he just kind of
like Jason Voorhees. Georgia is just the Jason Voorhees of college football. You can knock them down, you can shoot them, you can they can be down, but as long as they got a breath in them, they got a shot, and they've shown that all year long.
Well,
but
that comes from coaching.
Can they continue to do that? That's the thing.
I think so. I don't know. I don't know what the problem is with the Alabama curse. I don't know if they've made some kind of deal with Nick. He's like, all right, I'll retire, but you still can't beat us next year. And Kirby's like, God dang it. You're going to retire, but we still have to lose. Oh, come on, man. Can we? No, that's the deal. I'll retire this year, but you still got to lose you got to let the board get him a 2-year lead on you. And then the ranks are, I don't know. I'm just being funny, but something's up there.
Jake Keller says you don't have to worry about A&M much longer because they're going to Death Valley to lose to LSU.
Well, it's going to be on ABC 6:30. It is that night game, and I give a shout about that Sunday night. Like A&M is favored by 2.5 in the game, and ESPN slightly favors A&M in their power rank. Reed and Nussmeyer's throwed for close to both 1,700 yards. Tailbacks are kind of close. Receiving is not close. A&M, LSU's best receiver, the Anderson kid's at 323 receiving. So, and then of course the Halsey kid at LSU, their DBs, linebacker kid, he's a safety. He's got 52 tackles. So it's going to be a very interesting. This is put up or shut up. I mean, this is this is what you want to see if you're Coach Elko. This is the game that when you signed up for this job at A&M, this type of game at LSU at night, that's the one that this is one the AD can say, this is why we're paying you. You've got to go win this game. Because if they win that game, I don't know if Texas may beat them at the end. I don't know. They skunked Oklahoma like they ain't even like Oklahoma never even played the game of football for some reason. It's just like the Alabama and Georgia curse. I don't know what the deal. So I don't know. That'll be one of the interesting games for the weekend.
I agree. Ben Smith says, "What would you say if Ohio State loses to Michigan again?" I would say they turned the ball over a few times. Michigan ran the ball successfully and was able to burn the clock. And I still don't think Ohio State's out of it. I still think they sneak in into the high single digits.
Yeah, they don't play nobody. I mean,
it's going to be interesting to find out how the change that they made to where the conference champs don't automatically get the buys. Where are those lower conference champs going to end up? You would think that probably the group of however many there are, 5, 6, whatever it is, out there is probably going to end up being in the 12 spot. So whoever's sitting on that 12 line, you're not going to be safe come that last week. I had a bracket drawn out. We were going to try to maneuver those games in, but I just don't think I don't think we can do it because there's too many variables. Don't you think?
Well, I mean, just for craps and giggles, 12
Yeah.
plays one.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd have to look at it in the. Well, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter now, right? It doesn't matter who. The only thing that really matters is who is your highest rated non-Power 5 champ, because as long as you got your other champs in there, which you should have, let's see, you have a possible ACC champ in Georgia Tech or Miami. You have a possible Big Ten champ. You have a possible SEC champ.
But the SEC champs are 2 and 3.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean, we would just have to. I mean, it doesn't matter because they'll be ranked the same anyway. Yeah, right now that's how it would look. So
Bama, you'd have to say, all right, well, if Bama beats A&M in the SEC title game, if that even turns out that way, if A&M don't lose Saturday night, which they could, because that's going to put Georgia back in.
When I look at it, the only way I think we should do it right now, I mean, you got the Big 12, which would be represented currently by BYU. So, I mean, you just kind of got to list it. You got to list it down from the top. So your 1 seed would be Ohio State.
So the first 4 to get by is still right.
Yes, they do get a bye, but it's not a guarantee. It's not not the championship of the conferences, not the conference champs, unless they're ranked there.
1, 2, 3, and 4 are probably Ohio State's playing Indiana for sure, right? Yes, and A&M and Alabama may play. So even our 4 buys, that's why it is. Yeah, I mean it's hard to try to make sense out of it. You could say interesting games. Like you could say interestingly, Notre Dame played Georgia. Yeah, sure, that'd be fun. Georgia Tech plays BYU. Yeah, Oregon plays Vanderbilt. Great. Ole Miss plays Miami. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Notre Dame and Georgia would be an interesting rematch that I think that Georgia would be favored in this time around.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Let's see, Ole Miss. Ole Miss would be at Miami. Who would not want to see that?
Yeah. The more Saban disciples coaching against each other.
BYU. BYU at Georgia Tech, talking about a grounded pounder right there.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder that would be at Georgia Tech's higher rank, so BYU is going to travel to Atlanta.
Wow. Yeah. And then Vandy would be on the West Coast at Oregon.
Oh man, what a trip! I don't know, man. These dang Big Ten. Oregon just they never done nothing, man. What have they ever really done?
All right, let's pick it. Notre Dame at Georgia. You like the Dogs?
Sure.
Ole Miss at Miami. I'm not sure if Miami doesn't have better defense.
They do.
Tough.
They would have a time with old Chambliss. It would be an interesting game for him to try to run around for a while. And could they last the whole game? I'd probably say Miami outlast Ole Miss.
BYU at Georgia Tech. You like GT in that one?
Yeah. Give me the home team for sure.
I agree. And then Vandy on the road at Oregon.
Good Lord, man. You talking about I wonder what Vegas would they would favor Oregon probably by 2.5. I'd probably go with the home team. I think Oregon's fast enough on defense to corral Pavia at some point through the game, and he don't get to explode on the scene like he's going to. Oregon's probably a better complete team where, Vanderbilt has the quarterback is good.
Yeah. So let's go to the next round, which I know we said it probably would not turn out this way, but hypothetically, Indiana will be the home team, but it would be in a neutral site. Georgia and Indiana.
Okay.
It'd be Georgia and Indiana.
Dude, yeah, don't even ask me that one.
I had to ask you. Miami and Ohio State.
Ohio State experience, man. I think Coach Day and them, it's just they've been there and done that. I don't know if Cristobal is. I don't know. It seemed like he'd run out of plays against Louisville.
I think I know the answer to this next one, but I'll ask you anyway. GT and Alabama.
Wow, that'd be a good one, man. Trying to watch Bama defense try to tackle King and Ty would be too much for their deep. They ain't seen a quarterback whip the ball around the field like he can. Yeah,
I think too much offense. He can.
Yeah,
send the ball around. Here's another great possible matchup: Oregon and A&M.
I like A&M defense. I would side with them. I think they hold on enough to keep Oregon in the 30s, lower like 30, 28 or 31.
Now, in this scenario, obviously, Indiana or Ohio State's probably going to drop down. Alabama or A&M or Georgia probably going to drop down. But regardless, the way we got it seated out right now, it bears out Georgia and Ohio State, Alabama and A&M. So, who do you like, Georgia and Ohio State? Initially, I'd probably go with Ohio State.
Caleb Downs and their defense, their front, they got three dogs up in the middle. They would give Georgia a hard time to score even with Lucky and Cash and all them. Georgia would probably get theirs, but I don't know how much. I think Georgia's wins are desired on the feet of Gunner, if that makes sense. And I don't know if he would have that much luck on his feet against them.
I think it'd be a hell of a game. I mean,
oh man, I'd just love to see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna put
I'd
Ohio
love to be
State.
there. I'd love to see it in person.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Ohio State. And then Alabama and A&M. Marcel Reed's going to have to show me that he can win a game like this. I would personally take Alabama.
Yeah, I think Bama starts fast and then probably runs the ball later to slow the game down. I don't know if A&M would. I think they run out of time. May make a good push at the end, maybe to try to. But Bama just grinds the ball so hard. The way Grubb calls plays, I would like them in that.
Of course, that would make your championship game Ohio State and Alabama, which would be another slobber knocker.
Yeah, the Ty's ability to see the field is the windows will be even smaller. I don't know if he would have seen any defense like he would see with them, but I just don't know if Sayin can score enough to beat. That's the thing. I ain't seen enough from him, like he hadn't had to really, he's just a cool kid walk around school that gets to skip homeroom, and gets to go straight to break. Remember those guys? That's what he's doing right now. That's saying right now, where Bama's just come off of, 4 straight ranked played teams.
Well, I mean, if you ask me who's played the tougher schedule, who's got the more value wins, I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, 14-7 over Texas the first week of the year. I mean, it's an impressive win for Ohio State, but it's not as impressive as it was, a day after that.
It looks as bad as Alabama losing to a terrible Florida State team.
I don't know if it looks that bad, but it does look bad.
It does. It don't look good.
And Keller says, Jake Keller says that Ohio State is only a 4.5-point favorite at home against Penn State right now. He asked, what does Vegas know? Here's what I think is leading into that. I think you can't say noon game anymore because Fox plays the noon game. It seems like the best games on Fox are at noon, which is just the dumbest thing in the world, if you ask me. But anyway,
I don't get that either.
A lot of times, and I don't know if Vegas is taking this into account or not, but you see it a lot of times when the head coach is struggling, or I honestly have concern of what Georgia's going to do in 2 weeks against Florida, because they fired Billy, and now maybe they love this guy. Either they love him or they hate him, whoever the interim is. If they love him, Florida's probably going to come out like gangbusters and have a great game. If they hate him, then it might just, the wheels might fall off. So that's what I would worry about, with them getting rid of Franklin. I think they may come together a little bit. I mean, you see it all the time. You see it with UCLA earlier in the year, fired their head coach, and then they go on a run.
Yeah,
I don't think if Penn State beats Ohio State,
oh my God,
then give me the Dogs over Ohio State in that bracket.
Yeah, well, I think that would just be fitting to what this season has turned out to kind of be. Talking about coaching changes, I broke down. I just did a little 30, 40-minute spot on Bama, South Carolina. Beamer fired the offensive line coach this week, and Elson has took over as offensive line coach. He's from Georgia, coached at Georgia Southern. He's an offensive line guy, coaches tight ends also. So turning on film, they're going to try to run the ball, and I'm sure they're going to try to use Sellers more on his feet this week, because they're going to try to win at all costs. They've already come off. They're 0-2 the past 2 weeks against SEC teams. So I don't know what to kind of look for. Bama don't travel on the road really good last year, but they seem to be better this year. DeBoer seems to be playing a little more pissy. He's got a little Saban in him now, hollering at the refs and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. You get a new coach. So how's this offensive line? Because that's been their problem at South Carolina, and their defense is not real good. I think Bama can score on them pretty well, but how's their O-line going to look? Because Bama's not been great at stopping the run. They have times they do, but they'll give up a 35-yard gash, like they did to Georgia 2 or 3 times that night. So those are questions you got to ask.
Old Benny Hump says, the Dogs toughen up against OSU. If I'm going to be honest with you, Benny, we watched the same game, but late in that OSU game where we actually won right there at the stroke of midnight, if the offensive coordinator at OSU doesn't absolutely duty in his pants, OSU probably wins that game. What was he doing the last couple plays? I totally do not understand that at all. Get more yards. Get more yards. What are you doing?
Trying to be cute, man. I told Dean that the other day. We was talking about coaches trying to be cute. They need to save that for their wife when they get home. Just call freaking play.
So here's the thing. Today in the news conference, maybe it was today, maybe it was yesterday. I think it was today. They asked Kirby about his secondary. Why they're struggling so much, and he's like, "Look, guys, you may think the secondary is struggling, and they could obviously be better, but there's different aspects that you don't see that we know as coaches. I think we got good guys that can cover out there. We just got to put them in better positions. We got to, blah 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 blah. So to me, Kirby thinks that his guys can get it done as long as they're put in the right positions. But
that's all. Peyton Manning said something interesting last weekend. He said there's not adjustments like fans think there are in football games. Did you see that?
It's playing that same pattern, that same formation, that same play to a different result because of something different that you did. Maybe you didn't, attack the outside shoulder correctly and keep your, outside contain. Different things, there's different things that you do. And Kirby says it all the time. They ask him, what kind of changes did you make? We didn't go in and make wholesale changes. We just played better. We just played better. We got our head around and we found the football.
It's not as complicated. I'll give one example story of a high school Hall of Fame coach over here in Alabama. You think that it's these big elaborate, play sheets and the calling, and they won all these state championship games, and that one play where they, broke something big and something big happened. But really, when I talk to players that played on those teams and I ask them about plays called in them, they just go to the sideline in that play and they're like, all right, coach, this is what we got here. The nose, they all rotated. He played over. So, and the coach was like, well, if he does that again, just run it off left side. Oh, okay. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Run it off the 3 instead of the 2. If he rotates this to the nose, rotate and run it off the 3 instead of the 2. So it's a buck sweep 33 instead of 23. Just something like that. That's really the real truth. And I think college football, not ever being in a college football locker room or on a sideline watching them call plays, it's just not we think of it as something big and dreamy, and it's just not. They asked Kirby that, and what you're just talking about, we didn't really make a lot of adjustments. It may be a guy, when they bring somebody in motion, Kirby may tell him, hey, when so-and-so comes in motion, play a little tighter on that end. The motion that he come off of, the side he moved from, play a little tighter right there. It's not like we're changing like, all right, get out of there. We're going to 4-3 now. We're going to put a lineman with his hand on the ground on the end. All right, change all that, and we're going to play cover 2 on the top, but we're going to show them cover 1, and we're going to drop into cover 2. Some big scheme. It's not. I don't know why Georgia comes out and plays slow. And watching them play all my life for probably nearly 40 years, it seems Kirby is so amped. I wonder if he gets them too excited going on the field. And he said that when McAfee interviewed him at the game the other day. And Pat kind of mentioned that. And Kirby said, I think today I'm just going to go in and just say, guys, we know what we're here to do. Let's just go out and play our best game and win. Because there's not always that big coach speech, like, all right, guys, there's only one moment we live and die for here. It's not always that.
Another yard.
It's a sticking on a hobnail boot. It's not always those things.
Yeah.
He just kind of, said, maybe maybe he's too wound up before the game. And they play so tight. Yeah. And then when they calm down at halftime, they're like, because they're talented enough, then they calm down at half and they're like, okay, here we go.
Jake Killer says, what do you think about Vandy rotating the left tackle, left guard, and right tackle, right guard? Almost every other play, depending on which they are running, swap linemen. Never seen it before. Call it strong and weak formation. I've never seen it before, like constantly changing them out like they do. But, I understand. Whatever play you're running, one guy may not be as good at pulling or sealing or blah, 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 Yeah. But, hey, if it keeps them fresh, I don't know about every other play, but I could see series. And, Georgia does a lot, mainly because you got somebody half hobbled out there and you're trying to work them back slowly. But that's very interesting. I don't know much about it, honestly. I hadn't really seen – I watched a little bit of Vandy lately. Of course, I watched them when they got beat by Alabama. But Ben Smith, go ahead.
Their defensive line coach, I was just going to say, he's an NFL guy. He coached NFL football, ran the Patriots, played, I think, with the Steelers or something. So Vanderbilt's defensive coach. And you can tell,
Yeah. Well, Ben Smith says if Auburn loses to Arkansas on Saturday, Hugh Freeze is gone. Yeah, I think that would be the case.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I had some people down there at Auburn Saturday night that was on the sidelines around the team, and that was kind of the sentiment that they left with Sunday morning about 1:00 from hanging around down there. If he can't go down there, because Arkansas's defense is not real good. I think they're good enough on defense to corral Green enough, to hold him to 3 or 4 touchdowns. But can Auburn score enough? That's why I'm afraid to pick them.
Yep. Well, it was fun. I think we're approaching the hour, and You know, when they come out with the first rankings, let's see, when is that first ranking show? Find out when it is. I think it was November.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Last updated. Here's the bracket. 12-team playoff. They got a whole thing over here for percentages of teams and well, it don't say. I'm on ESPN, their thing.
Let's see here. Yeah, I'm trying to find when the show starts. November 5th is the first release date.
Okay.
That is a lie. That is last year's. Jeez.
I don't know. Ben told me a while ago he was when he was on. I was on a while ago. He gave me a date.
I'm almost positive it's November 4th, but I'm trying to confirm. It is Tuesday, November 4th, 7 p.m. You'll have them coming out on November 4th, 11th, 18th, 25th, 2nd, and then Selection Sunday is December 7th.
November 4th.
November 4th is the first one.
That's Election Day too.
Yep, it is Election Day.
And
7 p.m. Eastern.
That Sunday before is daylight savings time.
Ah. Yes, sir.
Where are you going to be at Friday night? We're going to probably ride up Geraldine, see them play for the old Fife Red Devils.
Well, Friday night, I'll probably watching a bunch of games online. I'm going to be on location at a Halloween thing that my kids and I always go to at my mom and dad's place over on Lake Gunnersville.
Yeah.
And Thursday night, just so happens, referee shortages have pushed Chattooga's Friday night game to Thursday night. So Dade County will be in Summerville. The Wolverines will be in Summerville Thursday night, 7 o'clock kick. We're going to have our pick'em show, me and Lawrence and whoever else shows. Going to have our pick'em show probably somewhere around 6 p.m. And we'll get that pick'em show for all this week's games. It'll be live on location from Buddy Wendell Field, Little Big Orange Stadium there in Summerville.
Yeah, I'll be on Thursday night. We'll roll through some games around here in the area. We try to hit some of the higher games because there are some like 2-6 teams versus 8-0 teams.
Gotcha.
St. Michael over here is going to play at Orange Beach. Big football game, something like that. And our local guys, Cherokee County is going to be at Asheville. San Roque City Bluff's off. And Spring Garden and Ranburne and Galesville will all be they'll be all traveling. So that's kind of nobody's going to be in town. Is what's kind of funny because San Roque is going to be off, and Cedar Bluff is off, and Spring Garden is going to be at Ranburne. Yep. And Cherokee County is going to be at Asheville, and Galesville will be at Woodville. So I think we're going to ride up to Geraldine and see. We always try to see Fife play one game a year in Geraldine. This is number 1 and 2 in that 3A region.
Wow. Ben Smith's asked me about thoughts on the SEC fining Texas A&M $50,000 for the fake injury thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm tired. I don't want to see that fake injury crap. There's too many real injuries. To be doing that to save time. I mean, there's other ways to maneuver it. I think $50,000. That's good. Make them pay.
Yeah.
Make it $100.
Yeah.
You're not finding a kid; they're finding a school. So
right. They ain't kids no way. Freaking that dude come off the field, and the Bama guy was getting on Pavia because he grabbed his crotch and up there in the stands, talking trash, and he got beaten. He come off the field, and the Bama fan was like, hey, you big bad now, grabbing your junk and throwing you loose words out here at us and cussing us. What about it now, big shot? You got that tail whoop, cut belt to ass tonight, didn't you? Some grad assistant runs up behind Pavia and says, "These are kids. He's a kid. Pavia's 24." He's not a kid. He's a grown man with $1 million bank account. Shut up. He's not a kid. I don't want to hear these are not kids. High school kids, yeah, don't do that. They're kids. He's a grown man. I don't want to hear none of
that. Jake says, what do you think about Gus Bus to Arkansas, and Jed Fisher, Spurrier assistant to Florida? He's at Washington right now. Jed Fisher to Florida. I think Florida is going to try to empty the bag to get Kiffin, but I don't think he's going anywhere.
You just, bro, you got it made. They're going to expect you to win like 9 or 10 games. They're cool with that. Maybe you get to play for SEC titles sometimes, make the playoffs. If he just makes the playoffs every year, they're not going to ever run him off. He goes to Florida. They've already had championships. They're going to expect him to come in by a year 2 or 3 and be like, going to the second round, Yeah. I wouldn't want to take it. And as far as Gus, I think he's about like Freeze. His time has passed him by. We can all see the offense. When he had the whole summer to dial up an offense, that's what it took to beat Bama. Plus, Bama out there dragging their tails around the field, walking around. That's why they got beat. It was just like a pure effort. But Gus – what is his offense? What is Florida State really? What have they done?
Not a whole lot lately. What do you think about?
If they run Norvell off, they'll put Gus as interim since he's been head coach for until they find somebody.
I would. What do you think about if you're Florida giving somebody like Matt Campbell a call, or somebody like the guy at Notre Dame? Shoot, I like him, Freeman.
He's he don't fit. He ain't gonna fit many places, man. It's about like as weird as Kelly being at Notre Dame. It's just Ed Orgeron was Ed O was the perfect LSU coach ever.
Yeah,
he looked like him. He sounds like him. They run him off, man. I think they run him off a little too quick. He just lost his staff. He lost his coordinator to go to the freaking Panthers.
I agree with Jake here. I don't think Florida makes that G5 mistake again. Well, they don't want to, but if they get told no enough, they might not have much of a choice.
Auburn's going to probably try to get, because Dillingham was there. He was an assistant there back some years ago with he was with Gus, wasn't he? Yeah.
Well, what about John Gruden? Does Gruden roll into an SEC job?
I don't know. That may be an Arkansas thing, because
Arkansas
that'll kind
or Kentucky.
Yeah, because there won't be a lot of high expectations. He can come in like Belichick going to North Carolina. You can kind of come in and get your feet wet and see what it's kind of really like, because it's kind of more comparable to pro ball now than it was 5 years ago. So I don't know. It don't always work out. I'm not judging Bill because it's his first year, man. He's got a lot of things to learn about how it works. He
brought like 1 million people in, and you know how it goes. Sometimes it just doesn't pan out.
You got to find your staff, and he's a good leader of people, but that you still got to have Jimmys and Joes, man, because we know what kills. Only one thing kills in high school and college football before we get off: speed. It's just speed. You got to have guys, man, that go out there and can run.
Speaking of speed, I'm going to run through the Georgia games that we'll be talking about this week. High school games, by the way. A little quick speed round. Paulding County's at Pebblebrook. Southeast is at East Paulding. Villa Rica at Kennesaw Mountain. Rome, basically, for their region championship at New Manchester. Towns at Southeast Whitfield. Cartersville at Hiram. Altoona and Cass. Central is at Griffin. Cedartown at Woodland. White County at Chestatee, Calhoun at Heritage, Dawson County at Lumpkin, Ridgeland at Northwest. Daresville is at Gilmer. GAC is at Pickens. That ought to be a good game. Murray County at Rockmart. LFO at North Cobb Christian. North Murray at Cahola Creek. Union County at Sonoraville. Christian Heritage at Fannin. Temple at Darlington. Model at Heard County. Bremen at Haralson County. Gordon Lee at Coosa. Gordon Central at Armurchie. Mount Zion at Manchester. Bowden's at Greenville. Good luck with that announcer down there. And obviously, we talked about Thursday. Dade County is at Chattooga.
Where is New Manchester?
Yeah.
Is that an Atlanta type area, South Atlanta area?
New Manchester High School is in Douglasville, Georgia. I believe it's Douglasville. Let's see here. Yeah, Douglasville, Georgia. Do you know where that's at?
No.
Let's see here.
I thought it was like southeast of Atlanta.
Douglasville is, let's see if I can get you a whereabouts. All right. So do you know where like the Bremen, Temple, Villa Rica is? Right there off of Highway 20, Interstate 20. You keep going east, get off in Douglasville. New Manchester is just a few miles south of Interstate 20, east of Atlanta.
Yep. Okay.
No, west of Atlanta. Excuse me.
Yeah.
West of
I thought I'd been through there. I had to go take some stuff up that way one time, and I thought I went through there. Well, good luck to everybody, and everybody be safe. And just hope the refs call good games. For God's sake, can we get some good call? Man, I'm telling you, they're killing me in college. It's killing me. Stop throwing guys out. That's my last point. Stop throwing these people out for targeting.
Yeah, I think we need to adapt the NFL rule and just do the 15-yard penalty.
Yep.
You know, if you get two, throw them out. If you get one, let's throw the penalty. That obviously we don't want nobody hurt, but no. I'm afraid that since the cat's out of the bag and they're already throwing people out, that they'll never stop now.
I know.
All right, Tim. Well, I appreciate everybody joining us, and I'll catch you next time.
Yeah, come back Thursday night. I'll be on live at 6 Central.
Sounds good.
All right, see you, boss.
See you.
We here at Northwest Georgia Football would like to thank you for watching. Please join us again soon.